G'day, that safety guy here. So here's a new one. Actually, probably not a new one, probably an old problem. So owners of a project decide that they choose when occupancy happens. And they decide to come in to construction projects without any PPE. They decide that it's okay for their contractors, their contracts to come in and do things like build furniture or install electronics or come for unscheduled tours onto a construction project. So owners of projects, you are not immune, A, to prosecution, B, to fines, C, to injury. Probably the best thing you can do as the owner of that project is perhaps to talk to the constructor. Maybe bring in the safety guy or the safety person into that conversation as well, so that maybe we can arrange a compatible, compliant, safe way to, say, hold a tour for the potential new employees coming in. You know what? I understand that a lot of office people may not have possession of hard hats, steel toes, things like that. Yes, you know, sometimes this happens at the end of a project where there's no visible construction going. However, because it hasn't been turned over yet, it hasn't been occupied yet, it's still under, in Ontario anyway, under a notice of project. It's still classified as a construction project, and therefore the rules and regulations still apply, especially as far as PPE goes. Would it not be advantageous, would it not be a good idea that as the owner of the project that you actually ask the constructor, can I bring in my people? Can I bring in this contractor to deliver and set up desks or these cubicles? When can I bring in my contractors to do, I don't know, IT things like run computer cabling or lines for cameras and lockable doors and things like that, access ways? Would it not be advantageous? Don't you think it's smart that you, as the employer, the people that are paying these contractors coming into a project that's not affected by the project, to, or at least inform them of the hazards and tell them, like, look, you're going to be going into an active construction site. You need to have your hard hat with you. You need to have at least your steel toes with you. Instead of coming in like you own the place, giving that safety guy a hard time because I'm enforcing the rules. I'm only doing it, I'm not doing it to be a pain in the ass. I'm doing it to protect you, the owner. Right? You, the owner, hired us as the constructor to take all the liability away from you. Because we have the skill set and the knowledge and the understanding of the law to aid in that. Just because the project is almost finished doesn't mean that you are immune from prosecution, does not mean that you are immune from injury. If you give me a hard time, I'm going to push back. I absolutely will. And if you still choose to be non-compliant and obnoxious about it, you may think you're going to win because I'm letting you do what you want to do. But a smart safety person is going to be documenting all these non-compliance issues. So when it does happen, because when it comes to workplace injuries, it's not a case of if it happens. Unfortunately, it is when it happens. So when it does happen, I will spoon feed you to the government officials because I need to protect my client. I need to protect my constructor from your obnoxious and belligerent abuse and ignorance of the law. And when I say I'll spoon feed you, I'm really not kidding. All right? I will throw you under the bus because you're not helping me help you. Now that sounds petty. That sounds borderline obnoxious. Okay? But if you repeatedly choose to circumnavigate and work around and try to escape from your obligations as the owner of a project, because you are just as liable as the owner, all right? Because you've hired a contractor or constructor, but as soon as you and the owner starts forcing your will, you become the constructor, all right? You become legally responsible for people in that area. So at the end of the day, you know what? I'm really not trying to be a pain in the ass, okay? We're trying to help you. We're trying to keep your workers safe. The people that you are making go into these areas, that you are not educating, that you are not making aware of hazards and mitigation measures put in place to protect them, okay? Because you come from, in this case, an industrial establishment, doesn't mean that they are immune from construction problems, okay? If you expect me to follow your rules, you need to follow mine. If you expect me to follow the rules and regulations for industry, and in some cases food safety, the least you can do is respect mine. The least you can do is respect the rules in my house, okay? Belligerence and ignorance is no excuse, okay? If you have it in for your safety guy, that's probably the last person you really want to piss off is your safety guy, okay? We're only here to help. We are only here to help. If you won't help me help you, then at the end of the day, I will just document the hell out of it, okay? And I will be your defense. Sorry, I'll be on the side of the prosecution, not the side of the defense. All right, and believe me, you want a guy of my skill set, you want a safety professional, you really want them in your corner for defense, not for prosecution, because we can do both equally well. All right, bear that in mind. Just because you're the owner of the project does not make you immune from prosecution. It does not make you immune from hazards. It does not make you immune from injury. Okay, it's as simple as that. Work with us. That's it. That's all.